Alright, hello YouTube. It's been a while since I did a recording. I actually got some really cool, interesting projects coming up, but I wanted to make this a quick, kind of more fun video to show you some of the more practical aspects of being a coder, being a developer. This basically started from, I had a good buddy of mine, approach me and all excited, telling me that he found about this new kind of winning strategy with Roulette, and he can't wait to go and join an online casino and make lots of money. Now, obviously, I was very suspicious and skeptical of that statement because if there was a magical strategy that guaranteed that you always win, I mean, well, casinos wouldn't really exist now, would they? So I asked him, like, what is the strategy? And he explained it to me, and it's basically just doubling your bet to cover the previous loss. And, as long as you, and the idea is as long as you have enough of a pool, as long as you have enough bankroll, you're pretty much guaranteed to win. My instincts told me that's dumb, that you're basically introducing exponential risk and that you're going to get wiped out. So in order to prove that to him, I decided I'd record a video. I'll actually basically write a program to simulate this winning strategy of his to hopefully show him how dumb and naive he's being in a loving way, of course, maybe not so much loving. And hopefully I'll also be vindicated myself. I mean, for all I know, this is a really good strategy if you have enough pool. So let's jump in and actually test this theory and see how it works. So let me switch the camera here. So I guess what we'll need is we'll need just an index file, and we'll need a script file, and that's pretty much it. This is all we're going to need. So I'm just going to open this up in VS Code. So here we are in VS Code, so we have our index file, but we're not going to be really using this file much. We're just using it to console log. So I'm just going to get rid of the style sheet and keep the rest in here. And for the script file, it should be just empty right now. So there's lots of ways we can do this. We can just do this with basic functions, but I like to kind of keep all my stuff inside one kind of container object, if you want to call it that. For now, we'll just designate with a dollar sign. So we'll go const dollar sign equals object. So that's pretty simple. So I like to have a init object, and we're going to make all these functions asynchronous, just because making sure that things happen in the order that we want them to happen in. I mean, that's just really important, and I'm not too worried about performance issues with this. It should be a fairly simple script. So I'm going to basically be making everything async here. So we'll call the function init, and we'll make it an asynchronous function. And then inside here, we'll just console log, what should we call this? I don't HD roulette. I don't even know if that's how you spell roulette. Init. And then we'll just call the function. So we'll go $.init so that we're actually calling this init function. So now I'm going to open this up. Let's switch the camera back over here. Open up the console log. And actually, this is going to be really small on your screen here. Let's see if I can actually, since we only actually need to care about the console log here. See if I can make this bigger. Here we go. This is what I need. Let's make this a lot bigger. That's good enough. So there we go. So we're just seeing the console log out here. By the way, I know that I could, probably, use the console here in VS Code. And also, let's make this bigger. This is really small. How do you zoom in on this? I don't even remember anymore. So I can't. Okay, so I have to do it this way. I don't know why it's not working for me here. Let's see. Let's just do it this way. Not the most elegant, but hey, at least you can actually hopefully read the text now. So yeah, so we're initiating. So what we're going to need is we're going to need some kind of global variables to keep track. So I'm just going to call this some vars. And it's just going to be an object to contain all of our global variables. I guess we'll call it init pool. So the pool will be how much money we're starting with. So for instance, we might start with, I don't know, $100, something like that. Actually, $100 is probably going to be you'll definitely lose that $100 really fast. So we'll start with $1,000. So that's how much starting money you have. We'll then call sets, which will be an array, and this will house each spin. Each spin of the wheel will track inside this array here, so that we can actually make sure that our validations are working correctly. And plus, it's kind of fun that you can go back and see how many in a row you've won and lost. We'll call bets, which will be what the current bet is, and we'll call I guess we'll just call it pool. And pool will be like how much money you currently have, like whether you're up or down, just the total amount of money that you have. I guess before we get in, I should probably explain what the strategy is. So the strategy is basically predicated on two ideas. The first is that you just constantly bet black, or you constantly bet red. So a roulette table is divided into two colors. Each spot it can land on is either red or black. So the idea is that you just don't change. You just always bet black, or you just always bet red. It doesn't matter. And you just bet, for instance, you start by betting $1. And you say $1 on black, and if it comes up black, congratulations, you now have $2. And if you lose, well, you lost that dollar. But then the next spin, you bet $2. And hopefully if you win that one, then not only have you covered your losses on the previous bet, but you've also made another dollar. And if you lose that one again, or that comes up red, then you double it again to $4. So that's the kind of strategy here that you're using to hopefully make money in the long term. The problem with that is let's actually go and look at this. You don't need to see me again here. Don't need me on this camera. Let's get rid of that handsome feller there. And I'm just going to open up a new tab, and we'll look roulette table. Okay, good. We can actually see some of these. So if you actually look at this roulette table here, see if I can get that. So as you can see, a lot of them here are like, we got black, red. But you see here, this one here is green. That's not red or black, right? And there's basically two types of tables. There's I think it's like a European version, an American version. I don't remember which one's which, but one of them actually has a green 0, and the other one has a green 0 and also a green 00. The point is that the idea that you have a 50% chance of winning each hand is false. You actually have less than a 50% chance of winning. Here's another photo of an actual roulette table here. Yeah, so as you, okay, here's one with the 2 here. So we got a 00 and just a regular 0. So you actually have less than a 50% chance of winning each hand. So right there, the idea that, each spin is a 50-50, that's a lie right out of the gate there. So, that's premise one lied to and broken. But the second premise we need to talk about is the idea that, if you have a large enough pool set, that you will always make money, that you can make good money doing this. Because especially if you're doing like an online casino, you can do a new spin every 10 seconds or every 30 seconds. So you can burn through a lot of spins really fast. And the idea is, you might be able to make $30, $40, $50 an hour doing this. That's the idea. But hopefully if I'm vindicated here, we'll find out that nope, you'll just lose all your money really fast. So here we go. So we have our initial pool, we have our sets, we have what our current bet is and what our current pool value is. So I guess the first thing we need to do is we need to set our pool. So because we're initiating here, we're going to set our pool variable to what our initial pool variable is. And the reason, by the way, I'm having these as separate variables is because later on I'm going to want to reference what our initial pool was. I'm going to want to be able to reference that. So that's why that's there. So for now, we're going to go $, because that's referencing the entire object. .vars .pool equals $.vars .init pool. There we go. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to basically want to start this set. Actually, you know what? Let's create a spin. So we'll create a spin function. And yes, asynchronous. And what this will do is it'll spin the wheel. So we're going to go on to go let v, just stands for value, equal math.random. And what this will do is this will basically generate a random float between, I believe it's just 0 and 1. I don't actually remember how many decimal points it goes to, but the point is it's a random number between 0 and 1. And what we're going to do here is we're going to say if v is less than 0.5, return red. Else, return black. And one thing to remember is that we're actually kind of cheating here. We're giving my buddy the benefit of the doubt. We're giving him a little bonus here because, as I said, you actually have less than a 50% chance of getting red or black because there's those 0 zeros, there's those green ones. But for the sake of this, we're actually just going to keep it a straight 50-50 just to even prove my point even further. You know, I'm not particularly a mathematician. I don't even know how many numbers are on a roulette table. But, you know, I'm sure you could tweak this by just saying, like, you know, 5-2 or 5-1-5 or whatever the real odds are of getting either red or black. So all this does is it just, you know, creates the random number. And, you know, depending on whether it's less than, 0 to 5 or, you know, it'll just return red or black. So that's nice and easy. And now we're going to want another function called I don't know, we'll call it set. I'm sure there's a better term for that. But set is where we're actually going to have the functionality to keep track of everything, to actually spin the wheel after, do all the calculations, that kind of thing. So I guess here we're going to want to go await, because once again, we're async here. Dot set. And that's that. So in set, what do we need here? So we're going to want to first figure out, well, I guess we're going to want to first get our spin. So const, what should we call it? Well, I guess we'll call it v equals await $sign dot spin. Okay, so now v, so actually we can actually console this out, console.log v, so that we can actually see this. Switch over to the camera. Replace, and as you can see, it's returning red, black, red, black, red. You get the idea. Great, so that's working. So we're doing that, and now what we need to do is we need to figure out what to do based off of this. So I guess we'll go if v does not equal black. So in our example, we're just going to say we're just going to choose black every spin. That's what we're betting on it. Black, 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 or I mean, you could change this to red. It doesn't matter. You could even randomize this on whether it's red or black. Doesn't matter because the point is this odds here. So we're gonna say if we end up if we're wrong, if we lose the bet, what do we need to do? Well, what we first need to do is we need to basically subtract the current bet from the pool. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go $sign dot vars dot pool equals $sign dot vars dot pool minus $sign dot vars dot bet. So this will subtract the current bet from the pool. So if our pool is 1,000, because remember we set the default here. So if we lose this spin, we'll subtract 1 from 1,000, leaving us with 999. So that's what we do if we lose. However, if we win, we basically just want to do the opposite. We want to add the bet to our pool. So there we go. And now what to do? I guess now we want to create an object because we have this this array here called set, and I want to basically put the results of this spin in here so that we can track it later on. So I guess what we'll want to do, so let's create an object called, I don't know, spin. And spin's going to want to have a value. Oops. Let's call it value. I guess actually the value is just v. So we're setting the value to what? So to black or white. So this will be, oh, sorry, black or red, sorry. Black or red. What else are we going to want? We're going to want to know what the bet is. We're going to know what the current bet is. So if we're betting $1, this will be $1. If we're betting $1,000, this will say $1,000. And then I guess we're, let's find out what the current pool is. So we're going to store all this data and we're going to add it to the array here. So I guess what we need to do is we need to actually push it here. .set.push spin. Okay, so let's go back and make sure we didn't make any stupid mistakes. Let's console log that out there. Yep, so as you can see, we got so we won. So this is great. So here we can see that our bet is, we bet $1. Because we won the bet, our pool is now 1,001, and we know that the, that spin returned black. And we could even see here that our bet is still $1, our initial pool is 1,000, and our pool is $1,000. What we need to do is also, when we lose a bet, we need to increase this bet by 1. Right? We need to increase that bet. But we need to do that after we've done this, after we push that in. Sorry, I'm showing the wrong screen. So we need to increase the bet if we lose, or reset the bet if we win. And we need to do that after we push this, this variable here. So now what we can do is we can go be, actually let's do if v, so if this spin. So we'll basically do the same, we're basically doing this similar thing up here. So let's just actually, just for simplicity, let's just copy and paste that over. So we're basically doing that same check again, except for this time we're basically saying like, so if it wasn't black, we need to up the bet. So vars.bet equals vars.bet plus vars.bet. So we're basically just doubling it. So if we lose, we double the bet for the next one, and if we win, the vars.bet equals 1. We reset that back to 1. Okay, so that's nice and easy. So now what we need to do is we need to run this again. So what we'll do here is we basically need to figure out if we still have money. So we'll go if vars.pool is less than equal to 0. So if we're out of money, or vars.bet is greater than equal to let's make that not look terrible. So what we're doing here is we're basically saying like, hey, if our current pool is worth 0, then we're gonna stop. Or if the bet, because remember if we lose, then we've increased the bet by twice. So if the bet is more than our needed than what we have available, so like for instance, maybe we need $500 to cover the bet, but we only have 400 left. Well, we don't have enough money to cover that bet, so we'll cancel this. So console.error, because I'm salty. So we'll send out an error message to let us know that, yep, we just lost all of our money because we're filthy animals. You know what? Let's console.log. Actually, just the length. So we'll figure out how many variables are in our set, so that we can calculate, how many spins it took us to lose all of our money. And then let's figure out. Actually, yeah, this is probably fine for now. This is fine for now. So if we lose, then we'll do that. If we don't lose, then what we'll do is we'll just add another set. So let's see whether I'm a genius and this worked or whether I'm a moron and it didn't work. Okay, so small issue here, just out of space there. But here we go. So it says that we blew it. We blew it in 248 spins, and let's actual console log out that. So here we go. So yeah, here we can see that so our bet was 1,024. That's how much money we needed to make the next bet, but our pool was only 114. We don't have $1,024. You can see that we started with 1,000. We were left with 114, and it only took 284 spins. If we open this up, we can actually see, each of our things here. So we can see here, our first spin came up as a loss. We bet $1. Our pool went down to 999. So our next spin, we had to double the bet, but we lost that as well. We just basically keep doubling until finally on our fifth spin, or I guess technically our sixth spin, we had to bet $32. We won it, and we recovered our losses and made that $1 profit. And as you can see, so it goes all the way down here, and we can actually go to the last one. And then you can see here, just red, lots of losses in a row. And you can see here our last one, we bet $512 in an attempt to cover our losses, but unfortunately it came up red and we lost everything because we're filthy people. Let's spin that again. Ooh, this one took a lot more. So this one was 5,344 spins. That's actually a pretty damn good run for only 1,000. This one was 540, 340, yada, 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 yada. You know what could be kind of interesting? So let's go in here. So when we lose, let's actually try to figure out what the highest is. Like what was the most money we could have made, and what was our lowest point. So I guess we could just do a for loop. For let I equals 0. Okay, I guess first what we need is we need to a variable for let h equals 0. Let L equal, ooh, so here's I actually, when I set this up, I was thinking like, I just felt like I wanted to have an init pool. This is a great reason for it. So what we need to do is we actually need to set this to the init. Oops, not a function. And the reason we set it to the initial pool is because we can't use the current pool because, well, I guess we actually probably could because, yeah, never mind. I guess the init pool was mostly irrelevant. Yeah, we actually just could have used the current pool value because we're looking for the low, and the chances are pretty high that the current low is the lowest we've been, but whatever, this works too. You get the idea. So now what we do is we basically say if the current sets pool is greater than h, then we want to set h to the current set. Then just for optimizations, we can do an else here, since if it's the highest, then we don't need to check if it's the lowest. We already know it's the lowest, or the highest, sorry. So if the pool is lower than low, then set L to the set. And then we can console this out. There we go, cool. So here we go, we lost in just under 2,000 spins. Our high was 1,983, our low is 816. So this run is actually not that bad. I mean, we almost doubled our money in 2,000 spins. And even at our lowest low, we only lost, about 20% of our initial 1,000. All things considered, this is kind of like a best case scenario. Let's run that again. Oh, look at that. 77,500 spins. Oh, there we go. This one was only we lost everything at 130 spins, and we went down to $43. This is why it's a stupid strategy right here. This is why it's a dumb strategy, Cotton. It's not pulling out. But you know what? This is only $1,000. This is only $1,000 we're using the pool. Let's up this pool to $10,000 and see what happens here. Here we go, 27,000 spins. Our highest was, almost 24 grand, and our lowest was 7.5 grand. Just to show you some different spins here. But as you can see, we always lose. It never fails to lose. You will always lose doing this. As you can see, most of these spins we're losing, pretty much half of our initial 10,000 here. Like, this is just insane. And plus, let's get the calculator up here. Like, let's just use, I just chose this random one here. So it's 2,000 spins. So let's say you can do, 2,000. Let's say you do a spin every, let's be 30 seconds with an online casino. Let's say you do every 30 seconds. So 30 seconds times 2110 is 63,300 seconds. 1,055 minutes. 17 and a half hours. So if you were sitting at your computer for 17 and a half hours doing a spin every 30 seconds, you would be able to do 2,110 spins, right? Now remember, we had to invest $10,000, right? $10,000 is our initial pool. We had to invest $10,000 to make, in this scenario, to make a maximum $1,090. That's at our absolute high. But as you can see, we actually ended up losing everything. So yeah, this is not a good strategy. You will absolutely lose doing this strategy. Honestly, I don't even know if there's you would need, I assume that there is like a level where it's like, if you set your thing so high, like, I don't know, let's do 1 million. Like, if you set your strategy up so high, you will eventually win. See how long it's taken the script to even run? That's actually a good sign here. So we lost in 436,000 spins. Our highs was 1.2 million and our low was 100. Oh, so we lost pretty much everything there. So we went from 1 million to 169,000. This is pretty terrible. This is really, that's just crazy. Just think about it. Just even think about the time sink. How much money you need to put on the line to make this, and you're making like $30 an hour. Like, it's just not worth it. And you're gonna lose everything here. Dumb strategy. Don't do it out there, kids. Stay in school.